Greetings and welcome. How are we all feeling at the moment? Today's topic is on escaping reality. And a lot of us have done this to some extent. And a lot of us do this without realizing it on a daily basis. And this is known as daydreaming. And when we daydream, we sort of get lost in our minds, thoughts, ideas, scenarios, experiences, and we're not really aware of what's going on around us right now. And we tend to do this when things become a bit too much, or we cannot deal with our emotions, or we can't deal with our traumas. Then we sort of separate ourselves from what's going on for us right now. And that can be extremely, extremely dangerous. Escaping reality is also known as dissociation. Dissociation is when you are no longer conscious in your external world, in your reality, and how you process things. And you sort of disconnect in a way that you're not actually perceiving what is going on around you. It's just sort of happening and you don't really take notice of what's going on. And if this happens for a really prolonged period of time, it can cause a lot of issues, identity issues, personality issues, a lot of issues around not being present and not being here in the moment. And you're just not experiencing life for what it is. You're just experiencing everything that's going on up here and how you're not a part of your life anymore. Dissociation is a result of trauma. So you see, when we go through trauma, especially at a younger age, our subconscious cannot yet process what has happened, so therefore it represses it and represses it. And one day you become aware of it when you're doing a bit better in your life and things are okay, and then it comes to your conscious mind. Now, one of two things can happen. One, we deal with the trauma, we learn how to let go and move forward, or we completely remove ourselves from the traumatic experience and we dissociate ourselves from the trauma and we are no longer a part of it. So it's almost as if you condition your brain into thinking that it didn't happen. And it's a way of coping, but it's a way of coping to survive instead of coping to thrive. And dissociation is also attributed to mental illnesses, psychotic disorders, personality disorders, dissociative identity disorder, all of those things. And it's sort of easy to understand that when there's so many imbalances in the mind, that it cannot comprehend what's going on right now. So it causes a dissociation, because many mental illnesses can cause lack of focus, lack of concentration, lack of actually being enveloped in your world, because there's so much going on in your mind. If you are mentally ill, it can be very difficult to connect with things, because dissociating is a way of coping with the illness, and that is what causes denial and even sometimes a bit of delusion. And we tend to dissociate, we tend to try and escape our realities when we cannot deal with our current experiences, when things just become too overwhelming, too upsetting, too emotional. We don't deal with it always. We remove ourselves from it. We completely dissociate, disconnect. We want nothing to do with it. We deny that it's there, that the problem exists. And it's when we cannot internalize and process things in a healthy way. And remember that when you do want to escape your reality for a brief period of time, it's not always a bad thing if done constructively. And I'm talking about distraction techniques, hobbies, just sort of being in your own bubble, in your own space, and being able to just disconnect from the world for a bit, and rather doing it in a creative, constructive way where you are not self-destructing and you are completely disconnected. No, it's about being in the moment, but being in your own little bubble, being in your own little space, disconnecting from the problems of the day, disconnecting from the problems for a brief period of time. And this is for your own sanity. But be careful what you use to escape. And this is where coping to survive instead of coping to thrive comes in, because we get so used to reinforcing unhealthy instant gratification habits and behaviors, and it can be very destructive. If you use TV shows or series as a way to escape, you're not actually building your mind, you're not constructing your mind. And it can be very damaging, because what you use to escape can either become an addiction or even an obsession. So it's very important that you use things like exercise, swimming, walking, running, cycling, or you garden, or you do something creative, you make something, you draw something, whatever it may be, to engage the mind in a healthy way in something that is not going to overwhelm you. And at the end of the day, wanting to escape our realities has to do with how you internalize your perception. If you see things in a very negative, horrible way, you are not going to want to connect with the world. You're not going to want to connect with other people. And your perception is the lens through which you view life, receive stimuli, and internalize your reality. So if you are escaping reality all the time, then your perception on life will be very negative. And how you internalize things will determine how you experience them as well. But while it has its benefits, remember, for a short period of time to engage in healthy activities, it can be harmful when you are not present anymore. When you become lost in your own mind, the psyche starts to deteriorate. Your mental health takes a knock, and you just don't live life anymore. You don't experience life for what it is. You just get stuck in your own perception of what you believe. And perception is not always true. And if you cannot be present, you cannot be enveloped in the whole experience of life. And the issue with wanting to escape your reality the whole time is that you don't face your trauma and the things that happened in the past. And this can cause issues with letting go of the past, because you're not there, you're not present in your healing. And it can cause issues in moving forward as you are not present in your current reality. So you're actually quite complacent. And many people dissociate and cannot come back from that. So when that happens, it's called a psychotic break, or a very severe delusional disorder. And it can happen when people experience too much stress or trauma, or have underlying mental health conditions. And it's dangerous because some people just don't come back from it. Remember, The mind is powerful. It is really, really powerful, a lot more than we give it credit for. Be careful how you dissociate and remove yourself from your reality, because it can be self-destructive, but it can also be healthy. So remember, you are unique and valuable. Take care of that stunning person. Stay strong wherever you're from. You are worthy.